Hello everyone, welcome back. It's Empyrion Galactic Survival episode 51. I'm Enigmius and today it's Blueprint Day. I promised blueprints, but we got kind of busy and I wasn't able to deliver until now. Got two blueprints for you today, so in keeping with the blueprint tradition, we're just going to kind of give you an overview of the two different ships that we're offering today. The first is the Azure Valkyrie. I just named it now. It's blue and it's a Valkyrie because I said so, and that's all we need to know. If you want to change the name, you can after you've placed it in your world. This is our capital vessel that we've been using. It's pretty beefy. It can usually take a beating in most cases. It's got plenty of guns on it so that it can do whatever you need it to do in an offensive role. Personally, I just like having guns on turrets in areas where I'm working so that they can take care of the bad guys for me and I can focus on the loot. That's really the idea, but so far it's held up pretty well in most situations. In fact, I would use this in an offensive situation, rating points of interest, if I felt that we could be precise in what we were shooting at and not just destroy the whole damn thing, loot included. Realistically speaking, this is the kind of capital vessel that I like to have for going around and doing things without having to worry about coming back to a central base for a while. So we've got all the machines that we need inside in order to process the ores that you might be digging up, making all the components and all the machines and weapons and ammunition that you could need, all from inside the capital vessel. It's got plenty of power output. It's power hungry. It goes through a lot of energy just kind of sitting there with the thrusters on. It's kind of to be expected because it's quite large and it's quite heavy and it's got quite a lot of extra large thrusters on it. Realistically speaking, if someone is unhappy with the amount of fuel it's consuming, they could tune the thrusters a little bit, which is to say test it and see just how many you need in a particular direction and possibly remove some of them, which would be the best strategy for saving fuel short of downgrading them. So that's something to keep in mind. Up top here, inside this section of the ship is our farm, and it grows a pretty substantial amount of food, all things considered, for a ship that's mostly about guns and machines. We ran into a little bit of difficulty with it taking a lot of damage from rocket salvos and the plants and the growing plots inside being destroyed. So we got rid of all the armored glass that we originally had surrounding the whole area, and we've replaced it with combat steel, a minimum of 2 blocks thick, all the way around. And then I painted it with the black and yellow striped texture because it seemed appropriate, and it actually doesn't look too bad overall on this design, although I probably, if I wanted to really take advantage of that whole theme, I would probably put the same kind of striping around the hangar pods on either side. Which brings us to the final feature that we'll go over is the hangar pods. These two sections off to either side of the ship are hangars where you can place the various different ships that you might want to take with you on your expeditions to the places where you go. So for example, you can see I left the ramps down. This is the hangar where I have my hover vessel, and the ramps make it very easy to get into and out of. The ramps are specifically placed in such a location that if you were, for example, sitting on a flat surface, the ramps would extend down far enough to just barely touch the ground at the bottom, make it very, very easy to get the hover vessels inside, and make it as easy as possible to get them inside on rough terrain. If you're careful, you can arrange things so that you can get into and out of the hangar with the hover vessel without pulling your hair out, which is a nice feature to have. And of course, you can retract the ramps when you want so that you're not flying around with them down. And then on this other side is where I keep my small vessel, which is what I'm actually flying around in, so that I can show you guys this because it's way too large to do with flybys on the drone. So that's the ship, that's the capital vessel. There's lots of room to expand inside. If you want more machines, you can do that. You can get all the machines that you can handle. You'll get so many machines in there that you won't even want to use them anymore because it's too much micromanagement. That's how much room there is for machines. Storage, all that stuff. There's already lots inside and there's room for lots more. So you're good to go as far as all that is concerned. Now, the other blueprint that we're going to look at is for the guy that I'm flying around, which is our small vessel, and I'm doing this outside because it's a little bit too cramped in the hangar to try and get around it and look at the various different things that are going on. So we're going to land it, we're going to turn the thrusters off, and we're going to get out and take a look. So this is the Jade Saber, which is... it's a small vessel that's primarily for exploring. We used to have pulse lasers in it as the weapons. We had 4 pulse lasers, and I found that for what we were doing, the projectiles for the pulse lasers were just too slow. They weren't really effective at killing things quickly. It's not like you could fire 4 times, miss 3, hit once, and still destroy your target. It just wasn't my favorite thing, so I replaced them with railguns. And if you're looking at this now, relative to the one that we showcased before, I also raised the guns up 1 block. So we've got 4 railguns in here, and they're aligned with the cockpit inside, so that as you're looking out the cockpit in sort of first-person mode, the crosshairs that you're using to aim coincide with where the guns are firing, which is very, very convenient. It's a little bit difficult sometimes when you're firing, especially at close-up, surprisingly. If the guns are too far away from where the crosshair is, you miss, because you're expecting the shots to go where the crosshair is, and they don't. They go where the guns would be relative to the crosshair based on their position on the ship. So we've been focusing a lot in the last several ships that we've done on having the guns central to the cockpit so that you can have an easier time aiming. And this one is no different. All of these are armored glass. We've learned with our experience with the farm on the capital vessel, armored glass doesn't last very long when it goes up against enemy fire. That's why we've got so many different layers of it extending all the way back. It's not going to be the kind of thing that lets you just face plant or, you know, face tank all kinds of incoming fire, but it is going to be the kind of thing that gives you a little breathing room so that the shots aren't going all the way into the cockpit immediately at the beginning of the fight. That's what we wanted to avoid. We've got lots of thrusters on this guy. It's actually really good on fuel. We've done previous small vessels where they were worse for fuel than the capital vessel if we scale it appropriately, of course. It's got some aesthetic detailing with just some stuff that we added on. It ends up being a little bit of extra armor, so it's helpful in that capacity, but also it adds a little bit of interest visually to what's going on with the ship overall. You can see all the thrusters are recessed for protection. We've got some spotlights on the outside, 2 on the front and 1 on either side to kind of help with visibility at night. And then of course we come around here, we've got more thrusters, naturally. And the interior is, well, I mean, there's lots of stuff that we can fit in here. And again, just like with the capital vessel, if you want more, you can add more. There's specifically more space included so that if you're using this blueprint and you decide you want to make some modifications, you've got a little bit of room to do that. We've got a constructor, which is pretty handy to have. We've got 6 storage containers. We've got 6 oxygen tanks. There's our oxygen station. We've got a couple of fridges. We've got lots of fuel tanks on either side. Ammunition storage here. I don't think that the blueprints carry the inventory of the containers that are with them. If they do, just saying, you're going to have to get rid of all of these laser charges for small vessels and replace them with railgun ammunition, because I haven't done that yet. And this is how the blueprint was made. It was with these guys full of laser charges. If you want more RCS units so that it maneuvers better fuel capacity, more storage, whatever you need, there's plenty of room for it. And I'm learning my lesson. The cockpit is accessible through this area here, and you say, what's the big deal about that? Because I've learned that if you make a little 1 block wide hallway sort of thing that leads up to the cockpit and then land on an uneven surface, you can't get out. It basically reads as you being wedged in at an angle, and it won't allow you to move to leave. So learning from past mistakes, we've made this so that you'll be able to get out no matter what. And you can see here, just from this vantage point as well, you can see the crosshair in the middle, and then you can see the guns lined up as well as you can really get for 4 guns in a situation like this, clustered around the crosshairs, so that whatever you happen to be shooting at, if you've got it in the crosshair when you shoot, it's going to be pretty damn close. And that's the best that I can do for that. So that's the small vessel. Between the two, I would say that it's not going to be a complete fleet, so to speak. You're not going to be able to do everything that you might want to do with these two ships. The capital vessel, like I say, it's great for getting around from planet to planet. You land it somewhere, that becomes your mobile base of operations, whatever you happen to be doing. You can move it around if you need to on the planet, but it's very expensive in terms of Promethean packs to do that. So it usually ends up going in one spot and staying there. This is best used as a scout vessel. It's not really good for extended fights, extended engagements where it's outgunned, which is pretty much anywhere. It's easy to get around on a planet surface without using a lot of fuel because you can navigate around the terrain. You don't have to worry about mountains and all that other stuff. You can get wherever you want to go relatively quickly, and because you've got 4 railguns, you can defend yourself against things like drones that might happen to get a little bit pesky. But in terms of touching down and using this as the ship to go around and get to your various different mining points, it's not my favorite because small vessels can't have turrets. Turrets are what we use to defend the ship, at least, while we're in some stinking hole that we can't get out of quickly to defend our ship necessarily. So I wouldn't use this as like a mining ship. I would have a hover vessel for that. We have a hover vessel in here. I like using the hover vessel also currently for assaulting points of interest, again because turrets make it a little bit easier. The ship can defend itself while we're focusing on the point of interest's turrets, that kind of thing. I'm actually going to be doing a little bit of experimentation once we're done setting up our fortress on, I can't even remember the name, Alien Planet, whatever that happens to be called, Mascarpone. No, it's not Mascarpone, but it's something like that. We're going to get a fortress set up there, and then we're going to start experimenting with different ships and different configurations and things that we haven't really done up to this point. But these are good ships to get us started and get us to that place where we can get around and do some of the basic things that we need to do. And then if we want to expand on that, get into really specialized ships, that's what we're going to be doing as well. So you've got a capital vessel, it could probably actually carry 4 of these, 2 in each hangar, based on the size of the hangars and the size of the ships. Lots of guns, lots of storage, lots of stuff, all the stuff that you really need, and plenty of room for the stuff that you want. And then this guy, a very capable scout ship. It's very well armored all the way around for what it is. And again, as a scout ship just flying around and defending itself against drones, it's quite capable. It's well worth the investment. And of course, as always, you want more, you can add more. You can modify it to your heart's content once you've built it from the blueprint. So there it is, the blueprints. More ships to come. Again, they're going to be quite specialized and experimental, but I'm hoping that they're going to be as much fun to use as they will be to build, because that's half the fun for me. And the next time you see us, we're going to be on the alien planet in the green mist with at least the beginnings of our super fortress where we're going to be basing our operations. We've gathered almost all the resources we need. You should see all the ingots we've got in here. You're wondering why I'm back on Omicron at our base. It's because I wanted the extra machines to process all of the ore that we dug up on Oskatune. Now that we're back, we're almost done with all that processing. This guy is getting loaded up. This guy is going back in the hangar. And we're going to be off to the alien world to make a mess. So if you want to be notified about those future episodes, the future ships, the future blueprints, you can always subscribe to my channel or follow me on social media. Links for social media in the information section below the video. Feel free to leave your comments and feedback. Thanks for watching, guys, and take care.